afternoon, my dear kids. How are you all doing? I am sure you all are in pink of health. Now, my dear kids, I would like to congratulate and thanks all of you for posting such overwhelming comments. I am really happy that all my kids are really loving the stories I am trying to narrate, the stories that I am delivering. Now, my students are asking me, ma'am, that please post stories that are short so that we can listen to them very carefully and attentively when we are eating our food, or we are solving our school homework. It really inspires us and encourages us. And the inspirational stories and motivational stories are really helping the kids. They are just following the paths which I am trying to teach them. Okay, so my dear kids, you all are excited? Yes, a big thumbs up from all of you. Okay, so shall we start? Okay, let's start. The first story is the Sad Peacock. Now, my dear kids, this beautiful story about the best of what you have is my first pick for the list. Okay, though my kids ambition is not a bad thing, there is usually a very thin line progressing to greed. It can run both ways. Okay, so as parents we may end up pushing the children so hard that kids sometimes get frustrated. I can understand. And on the other hand, kid may end up demanding for more and more without regard to what they already have in their lives, right? So it could be both the ways. Now, my dear kids, this is a wonderful story about a peacock who almost went the same way. Okay, so there was once a beautiful peacock who was all but dancing on a rainy day. While he was busy admiring his plumage, his rough voice reminded him of his own shortcomings. All the joy beaten out of him, he was almost in tears. Suddenly, he heard a nightingale singing nearby. Listening to the nightingale's sweet voice, his own shortcoming once again became very evident. He began wondering why he was jinxed in such a manner. At that moment, Juno, the leader of the gods, appeared and addressed the peacock. Why are you upset, Juno? Asked the peacock. The peacock complained about his rough voice and how he was so sad because of it. Okay, the nightingale has such a beautiful voice. Why don't I have such a beautiful voice? He was just saying. After listening to the peacock, Juno explained, every living being is special in his or her own way. They are made in a certain manner that serves the greater purpose. Yes, the nightingale is blessed with a beautiful voice, but you are also blessed with such a beautiful and glittering plumage. The trick is acceptance and making the most of what you have. The peacock understood how silly he had been in comparing himself to others and forgetting his own blessings. He realized that day that everyone was unique in some or the other way, right? So, my dear kids, what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is self acceptance is the first step to happiness. Make the best of what you have rather than being unhappy about what you don't. So, love yourself, believe in yourself, and definitely, my dear kids, you will achieve success and you will be happy. Don't compare yourself with others. If you think that you are best in this particular, or in a particular work or task, Give your best shot and trust me, it will work wonders. Don't complain that, oh my god, he or she has got this, oh my god, he or she has got that. No! Whatever you have, be happy and trust me, life will be very easy, right? So, my dear kids, post your comments. Let's go to the next story, which is the two gardeners. Okay, excited? Again, my dear kids, fasten your seatbelt. Letting go is probably one story lesson that can teach both the children and the parent valuable lesson. Children's are hands down very impressionable and sensitive, and there are times when you as a parent might not want to accept that a line needs to be drawn, as children need to become independent. So as parents we should know that also. So here is a story that talks about the challenges of learning to do things on your own through stronger roots. Once there lived two neighbors who used to grow the same plants in their respective garden. One neighbor was fussy and took extreme care of her plants. The other neighbor did what was required but left the leaves of the plants alone to grow as they pleased. One evening there was a huge storm accompanied by heavy rainfall. The storm destroyed many of the plants. The next morning, when the fussy neighbor woke up, she found that the plants had been uprooted and destroyed. However, when the more relaxed neighbor woke up, she found that her plants were still firmly rooted in the soil, having weathered the storm. So, the plant of the relaxed neighbor had learned to do things on his own. So, it had done its bit of work, grown deep roots and made a place for itself in the soil. Thus, it had stood firm even in the storm. However, the fussy neighbor used to do everything for the plant, thereby not teaching the plant how to sustain on its own. So, my dear kids, the moral of the story is sooner or later you have to let go and become independent. Unless you stop fussing, nothing will work on its own. So stop fussing. Learn new things. Be self-disciplined and self-motivated. Don't always scribble that I don't have this, I don't have that, I cannot sustain here, I cannot sustain there. No! Try to overcome obstacle, okay? And you will see that you will become very strong one day, okay? So my dear kids, I really hope that you learned a great moral lesson from this particular story, okay? So can we shift to the next story? The next story is the three fish. Rounding off the list, this is the beautiful story about three fish. Once again, this story is just teaching your child how to be wise when encountering a problem and never to forget to help others in need, okay? So always help people when they are in need, and definitely be wise and smart enough when you are in a problem, okay? Don't just leave it, okay? Try to face it. Now what happened? There were three fish living in a pond. They were friends and practically did everything together. One day a fisherman came across the pond and was delighted to see the fish. He made plans to cast a net and catch them. The wisest of the fish had made plans to find a different pond. While one of the fish agreed, the other one denied, saying that the pond was home and he shall not vacate it. The third fish further said that there had never been any danger in the pond. I don't see the point of leaving this pond. I think it is cowardly. So the first two fish were unable to convince their friend, and so they decided to part ways. The next day, when the fisherman cast his nets, the first two fish escaped. However, the third one got caught. He had been unable to identify and act upon the problem and was now paying the price of neglecting danger. So, my dear kids, what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is it's pays to be wise when faced with a problem. Remember that every problem is different and therefore has a different solution. We will be facing different problems in our life, but we have to act smartly. We have to face the problems very smartly because things are going to be different. Okay, so my dear kids, how did you like these inspirational stories? I wait eagerly for your comments. Okay, and it is really a pleasure narrating stories for lovely kids like you because I can see that you all are following the advice that I am trying to teach. Okay, so my dear kids, stay connected with your storytelling narrator Payal here. Till then, take care of yourself. Okay, bye bye. Thank you so much.